Well, the person we're treating to a makeover today is Deborah J. Kelly from Essex, whose garden's in need of some TLC.
Hello.
Deborah, lovely to see you. Right, let's have a look at your garden on here and tell us what you've got. Apart from a slide and a
Not
Wendy
a lot, actually. There used to be ivy all around the garden. My husband got fed up with it and chopped it all down. Since then, we've got headless trees or tree trunks and not much else. A problem growing anything, really,
So
in
what
the garden.
do you want? What would you like your garden to be?
I'd like something vibrant that sort of reflects my personality. The house is very much like it and the garden is just dull.
Chris.
It's interesting, isn't it, when we start to talk about how you frame a garden and how you create a garden, that you picked out the colours and the vibrancy. What we should point out is that the slide and climbing frame, you don't need that anymore. I mean, you inherited that. You've never even used it.
Never used it. No, the cat loves it, but that's about it.
So we can sweep that aside. So we are dealing with a completely blank canvas. But it's worth remembering the role that colour plays. It is the most fundamental of our experiences of the external world. It is ingrained within our psyche.
And it affects our mood, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, it changes our atmosphere, it changes our mood, but more importantly, perhaps in this garden, is it changes our spatial awareness. Some colours make the space feel very large, some colours make it feel very small. And the trick is to unlock the secret of colour, because if you do, you can get away with anything and create the most spectacular gardens.
You go over there, Chris, and let's have a look at this range of colours here. You're starting with red through yellow, green to blue.
Well, so the point is that we experience colour because we have a series of white tubular lights, effectively, rays coming from the sun. And each one of those bundles of white light is composed not of just white, but of a whole range of colours. It's the colour spectrum, of course. It's what you see in the rainbow. When the sun's shining through the clouds, you see the rainbow out there, and it's all the reds, orange, yellows, greens, blues, whites, indigos, violets, all lined up like that. Now, the reason that we see some colours in preference to others is because of the way in which the light waves are arranged. So, for instance, with red, like this, and your red jacket there, very vibrant, the red wave is a very long wave, and it travels to us, kind of, very quickly. So we see it sooner than we would see blue, for instance. Now, the fact that we see it sooner means that our brain thinks it's closer than it actually is. So if you fill your garden full of this end of the colour spectrum, what we call the warm colours, the colours of fire, the colours of heat, the reds, the oranges and the yellows, the garden will feel like a little cauldron. It will be warm, it'll be tempestuous, it'll be exciting, and it'll feel very enclosed.
Does that mean, Chris, apart from feeling cool with blue, does that mean that blue is going to make your garden look bigger if it's a small space?
It does. That's exactly the point. In normal sunlight levels, that end of the colour spectrum, the blues, whites, indigos and violets, all those sort of cool pastel colours, the colour of ice, the colour of shade, they will make the space seem much larger.
Well, let's go and demonstrate, because here are some plants that you could use, Deborah. And down here, here's all the bright, vibrant, the reds, the, you know, from things like polyanthus. We've got, you know, witch hails in there, oranges. These dogwoods with their scarlet stems and the yellow. So that's all your your left-hand end there is in there.
This is all very vibrant. This is fizzing. This is really going to stand out. But what's also worth remembering is that end of the colour palette, the cooler end of the colour palette.
Which is also lovely colours,
And it's quite useful to sit them against one another. Now, the rules of colour state that the red of your jacket, the red of those corners, stands out only when the sun is out. As soon as the light levels dip, or in winter, when we have a slightly lower sun, or if there's long shade and shadow cast in the garden, what happens is all of those rules are completely flipped. So instead of the red end of the spectrum coming to the fore, it's the blue end of the spectrum. So what you need to do is, for the summer months, reds, oranges, yellows, and in the sun areas in the winter, go for those colours. But don't forget these, because these will shine out much better in lower light levels.
So in that little square garden, which is probably only about not much bigger than this, what would you suggest that Debbie puts where?
Well, I think the structure is going to come from things like the cornus and the larger shrubs, the skimmias, those sorts of things, and they will give us that sense of warmth and vibrancy.
And they're evergreen too, as well, Deborah, so, you know, you'll have those all year round. It won't just... And these dogwoods, of course, when they've lost their leaves in winter, you get these lovely coloured stems. So it's not, Chris, as if it's going to be all bright and jolly in summer and nothing in winter, because you've made sure I mean, here we are in January, and this is what you've got.
That's just it. It's about getting those contrasts. You've arranged blue jeans with a red jacket. We see the red jacket, that's really vibrant. But actually, the red is enhanced by the blue. Yeah. So you put a little bit of your blue, and suddenly the red shouts out.
Yes.
And the cool of the blue is enhanced by the red.
Shall
so
we
they work
show
together.
you what
Very
they've decided
cool.
that
Yes,
you want
please.
Chris to decide now? So this then, Deborah, becomes... This is what Chris suggests you do.
Oh, look at that.
Bit of a change.
So what we're trying to do here is to put some height in the corner of the garden. That's going to take the eye up and out into the distance.
Yes.
But you'll see that what we've tried to do is to use things like the cornice and the shrubs along the fence line here to warm up that boundary.
Yes.
And a nice little sort of sheltered seat to
Very
sit in.
nice.
Yeah, something to walk towards to draw you out into the garden.
Yes.
You need somewhere to sit to enjoy this cauldron that you're creating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Deborah, we will give you a starter kit.
Oh,
there you are.
very much
One pittosporum with purple leaves, one red-leaved dogwood and a yellow
green
one.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. My thanks to Deborah and to Chris Beardshaw.